Thank you, Mr. Mayor and council members. My name is Chuck Woletsko, and this is my wonderful wife of 40 years, Denise Woletsko. I'd first like to thank all of you who responded and...
Chuck, excuse me, do you want the overhead on?
Yes, please. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Let me know when it is.
Sorry, Chuck, do you want to turn on the microphone as well? It sounds like it may not be on.
Oh.
No, I'll stop interrupting you, I promise.
No, that's fine. Okay, thank you for clarifying. I wanted to first of all thank you for responding to my open letter, which is displayed here, especially to the 5 that took time out of what I know is your very, very busy schedules to have phone conversations with me and to talk the points through on the letter, which I thought was very kind of you. I also wanted to thank you on behalf of all Bloomington residents for the enormous amount of time and energy you spend on the council on behalf of the city of Bloomington, which we all love. Mr. Mayor and council members, it was exactly 48 hours ago I stood with my dear friend Rosella Decker at the Minnesota Police Memorial at the state capitol grounds on Saturday night. Rosella Decker was there to honor her 32-year-old son, Officer Tom Decker, who was killed in the line of duty in Cold Spring, Minnesota on November 29th, 2012. Rosella was joined by many members and representatives of the other 295 officers killed in the line of duty in Minnesota, who represent what the Thin Blue Line stands for in Minnesota. They gave their lives so that we may have our way of life and our liberties protected. And that Thin Blue Line stands exactly for what it means, in that it stands for those police officers standing in the gap so that law and order can prevail versus anarchy. Contrast that scene, if you will, to the what I consider unfortunate situation when Mayor Bussey apologized for flying the Thin Blue Line flag in Bloomington. Mr. Mayor, with all due respect, in my personal opinion, sir, I think that apology most certainly undermined the morale of our excellent police department. But even more importantly, I think it dishonored and disrespected the 295 police officers and law enforcement officials who have died in the line of duty, who are actually the representatives of the Thin Blue Line and what they've done to protect our liberties and allow us to have our way of life while they've defended our communities. Contrast that apology, if you will, with the excellent comments during my conversations, particularly with Mr. Beloga, Mr. Lohman, Ms. Carter, and Mr. Nelson, where they correctly said, we are indeed fortunate in Bloomington to have perhaps the best police force in the entire state and arguably in the entire country. But I think this has led to a lot of consternation, confusion, and concern amongst Bloomington residents. They're not sure which message is which. They have confusion, but they're not sure if the apology is what we stand for in terms of standing for our police, or if it's the statements from the other council members. And they're concerned, depending on which way the council is leaning, whether it's leaning in the wrong direction, that we could end up to be like the dumpster fire, which I believe is the city of Minneapolis, which certainly does not support and defend its police force. So ladies and gentlemen in this chamber, let me please share with you where there is no confusion. There's absolutely no confusion when the Rosella Deckers of the world step up to that brightly lit Thin Blue Line at the Peace Officers Memorial by the state capitol. And even though she may have tears in her eyes, you can be absolutely sure that she is very clear-eyed of what that Thin Blue Line stands for. Because it's families like hers that have given the ultimate sacrifice so that we can live and enjoy the freedoms and liberty that we have for our way of life in the United States. So I'd like to implore everybody in this chamber to honor and respect the Rosella Deckers of the world and to have their voices be heard above the noisy crowd. So where do we go from here? I have a couple of proposals which I think at least symbolically are a good step forward for all of us. 6 years ago, my neighbor Stu Walker and I,
Let's go. Your 5 minutes are up, sir.
I was told I'd get a couple more minutes because of my disability, sir.
I don't know who might have told you that, but I think we try and limit this to 5 minutes for everybody to keep it fair and keep it equal for everyone.
Would you please yield me just 90 seconds? I can wrap this up very quickly.
How about 30 seconds, Mr. Walensky?
Okay, I would like to ask then that we return the favor like when the police department 6 years ago honored Stu Walker and I by autographing the Thank You Bloomington police signs. And I'd like to request that the city council do the same tonight by signing it to endorse our wonderful police department. And then Officer Giles would accept that on behalf of Chief Hartley tonight so that we can stand behind our police force. I've also given you the Thank You Bloomington police signs, which I'd ask that you proudly display in your yards, in neighborhoods over the coming days, weeks, and months. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Walensky. Would I be comfortable doing if you could